The Flipper 1 is coming. What's going on, you guys? We've got a Flipper 1 update for you. And as more and more information starts coming out about the Flipper 1, I'm having more and more concerns. And if you've watched any of my channel before, you know I absolutely love the Flipper Zero. I have a ton, like over 100 videos about the Flipper Zero. Now, I've been back and forth about even making this video because I really love the Flipper Zero and I really love the Flipper Zero community. But I'm starting to think that the developers have completely lost their way. Today, we're going to talk about all the new specs for the Flipper 1 so we understand exactly what it's all about. And we're going to bring it back to what made the Flipper Zero so special. And we're also going to talk about why I personally think that the Flipper team has abandoned their community, and they even went as far as to attack me personally on Twitter. Yeah, I'm going there. Let's get into it. Alright, so let's hop directly into what you guys are all here for, the specs. Alright, so here we are down at Sapsan Cybersec and Military at sapsan.splictapool, and it just has a great overview on it, so we can check it out. So we can see that they've updated the entire form factor. We've got more buttons and a battery indicator over there, same D-pad vibe, but this is like a window changer because, again, this is supposed to run what I've heard is a version of Kali Linux. Now, I do know that they were looking for developers for this project earlier, so who knows if they even have this thing done yet, but this is what it looks like. We have lights over here for LAN 1 and LAN 2, and it has Wi-Fi. Obviously, we have 4 buttons, a power button, and 2 buttons over there, which is pretty similar to the last view we saw, and the same little leash loop. We scroll down, we can get some more key information about it. Now, it is going to have a dual processor with an ARM chip, which is good, obviously. It's going to have a little bit better screen, 256 by 140 resolution, up by 128 by 64 from the old one. It's going to have an M.2 slot, and this is their expansion port. It also has DisplayPort over USB-C, which means you can plug this into a TV or a monitor, which on paper sounds useful, but remember, this thing is supposed to be kind of a mobile device. I mean, plugging the Flipper Zero into a TV failed miserably. I cannot express to you how big of a flop the video game module was. I've made videos on it, tanked. Snorin's made videos on it, tanked. Nobody wants this functionality. Anyway, moving on. So let's see. So the confirmed information is that, yeah, it does exist as a project. We know, we've been tracking it, and originally it did disappear. Flipper 1 was a project way back in like 2023. It was supposed to be, again, a Kali Linux thing running off of a Raspberry Pi with HDMI, and very similar idea to this. Now, what people didn't expect was that it was going to force you into only have expansion slots. This device, from what we can see, doesn't do anything. And that's why I think they've completely missed the base, and I don't think the Flipper Zero community is going to rally behind this device. It does say that it's retaining GPIO, but I don't know, and I can't tell if it's going to actually use the Flipper Zero boards, because if it can't use the Flipper Zero boards, what's the point? I mean, people have all these boards. They're not going to want to buy new stuff for the Flipper 1, especially because if we scroll down here, we have, yeah, more pictures. The theoretical price point on this, seeing as how crazy the world's been since 2022 when the Flipper Zero came out, we're probably looking at $300 to $500 American for this device, with prices way outside of pretty much everybody's price point, unless you're a professional pen tester. Now, the problem that I also have is I don't think professional pen testers are going to use this either, because it's not a pen testing tool. Yeah, maybe you can plug in Nmap and things like that, but we have much better products for that. Because remember, you can put Kali Linux on a cell phone, and everybody's got one of those. You've probably got one sitting around that's not even being used. You could put Kali Net Hunter on it, and bam, you've got a Kali machine with a full color touchscreen, and you could use like easier typing. It would be so much easier, and you already have that device. So now we have the comparison, which I think is super useful for the sake of explaining what I was getting at here. It's got a custom color display versus the 1.4 monochrome display, which is effectively the same thing, just with like better resolution. The Flipper 1 has physical buttons, and the other one has the 5-way D-pad. It's kind of tomato, just more buttons, yay. The processor is, yeah, they still don't really know what the processor is. I heard they were trying to get some custom processor, which just means it's gonna be even harder to code for this thing. Battery information, not disclosed. It's gonna have a replaceable M.2 slot, which again means you're gonna have to plug everything in. You want NFC? Gotta plug it in. You want sub-gigahertz? Gotta plug it in. You want IR? plug it in. You get what I'm getting at here? The Flipper Zero was amazing because it was plug and play, out of the box, do whatever you want. The Flipper One is $400, $300, $500, I don't care, but it doesn't do anything. Sure, it's got USB-C with DisplayPort, but again, plugging into monitors, no one cares. And yeah, it's supposed to run some sort of Linux, but that means they're also going to be running something on top of it to make it work with the interface for Flipper Zero. They were looking for devs, who knows if they got them. It's just a big mess. Now, I do have some more photos of this over here. This is the prototype pictures off of Pavel's Telegram, and you can see the back of it. That's your GPIO, so unless they have like a Flipper Zero board on the bottom, the GPIO there, this doesn't have it. Now, it does look like it's got a spot for SMA, so there's an antenna. That's kind of cool, but again, you can do antennas with GPIO boards. We all have antennas on our Flipper Zeros now. You can also see, again, just because of the design of the back where the M2 slot was going to be right there, it definitely won't have onboard anything. NFC, it's just going to be add-ons. So right out of the box, completely useless. But you know what's not useless is this segue to today's sponsor, PCBWay. PCBWay is your one-stop shop for all things PCB design, manufacture, CNC, sheet metal fabrication, and so much more. And right now, they're running their 8th annual project design contest. Makers from all over the world are competing for thousands of dollars worth of cash and prizes. I absolutely love these contests because it shows all the cool things the community can come up with. You can compete with mechanical projects, electronic projects, or AIoT projects. So if you've got a project, head on down to the link down below, see what you got. Thank you so much to PCBWay for your continued support. You guys are awesome. Let's get back at it. So the weird thing about the Flipper dev team is it seems like once they dropped the Flipper Zero and the Wi-Fi dev board, they kind of just decided to go in completely different directions. If you look in the past at things like the Flipper Nano and the video game module, it seems like they really don't know where to go from here. Case in point right here, this is the busy bar. No one understands this project. Literally no one understands it. And I don't think anybody, at least in the Flipper Zero community, really wants it. It's literally just a Pomero, I can never know how to say it. It's just a timer that goes on your computer screen and tells people that you're busy. I can't imagine how this is going to increase your productivity. You're saying, oh, it's going to help people with ADHD. No, it's not. I'm going to spend 45 minutes messing with this machine to get it to say what I want it to do with custom fonts and all this stuff, and then I'm never, ever, ever going to touch it again. That's what I'm saying. I think they've completely lost touch with the community. And here's another example. Let's go down here. This is the Flipper Zero GitHub. So we can see all the stuff down here, and then let's scroll down to releases. April 22nd. That's like half a year ago. They haven't done a single update to Flipper Zero in 6 months. And honestly, that just feels criminal. They've completely left their entire community just out to dry. Now, the custom firmware guys have been out there. Momentum, Willie, those guys are absolutely awesome, and they're still trying to push the envelope of what the Flipper Zero can do. But without the actual Flipper Zero devs on board, it kind of feels like we're out here just on our own. And then we get to Flipper Zero and their Twitter team. That really rubbed me the wrong way. Hold on, where is that?
Hi kids, welcome to Talking Sasquatch.
Hack the planet, but don't be a skid.
Talking Sasquatch, we'll be right back.
Okay, here, I posted this on Twitter when I dropped the Meow Kit, and it says, simply, can the Meow Kit dethrone Flipper Zero as the king of hacking tools? Video and comments. Super common, this is what we do on Twitter. We hype stuff up, we ask a question, curiosity gap, rinse and repeat. That's literally how everything works on Flipper Zero. But Pavel seemed to have gotten a bit butthurt by this, because he's like, wow, another Flipper Zero killer. How good is their NFC, 125 kilohertz RFID, and sub-gigahertz frequencies? Oh, it doesn't have it. Only Wi-Fi and BLE spam. Such a hacker, so much pen test. I have literally supported the Flipper Zero my entire YouTube career. I've made hundreds of videos on the Flipper Zero, and quite honestly, I've probably sold thousands of Flipper Zeros from these videos. Why are you coming after me? And it's not even that. I don't even care, honestly, that much. But I started looking at other posts, and I'm like, if he's doing this to me, what else is going on? And I'm assuming Pavel's the one at the reins on the Flipper Zero Twitter. If not, whatever, but still. Here's another one. Somebody's like, thinking about getting a Flipper Zero. Have you used one? This is not recommended. Somebody's like, but they look so fun. It's not for everyone, man. Save your money. It's too expensive. Better invest in crypto. Like, what the hell is going on here? Somebody's actually asking about a Flipper Zero, and they're being a complete I'm sorry, like, this is insane. This is how you treat your community? And that's not it, there's even more. So if we go down to here, this is somebody showing off their Flipper Zero with a dual Marauder on there. So it's a really cool thing. It makes it look really cool. So yeah, that's a really interesting thing, right? Nope. Wow, much antennas, such hackers. And I don't know, maybe I'm overreacting, but it seems like this person's out there promoting your product for you on Twitter, which you should be like actively encouraging people to do instead of putting snarky comments like this in there. I don't know. Now, not all of the Flipper Zero devs I think poorly of. Actually, I think it's really only Pavel. He's been completely disconnected the entire time. In fact, until that one time, he had never ever actually talked to me. Nobody from the Flipper team has ever talked to me except for Wrench, who's the community manager. Now, sorry not to get into some big rant here, but I do personally feel like the Flipper team has completely abandoned their community. They're no longer really looking out for them. They're just trying to make something new that they think is going to be a great product, but they're not listening to their own community and what they really want. The Flipper 1 should be more of a yes and instead of a no but. What sounds better on paper? What's the Flipper 1? Oh, it's the Flipper 0, but it's got an ESP32 on it for Wi-Fi testing. Hey, guess what? It's even got 5G de-authing, and it's got a color screen, so many more features, and it runs even faster. Or, what's the Flipper 1? Oh, it's like the Flipper 0, but like you have to plug everything into it. It runs Kali, but it's got a crummy screen. It's hard to navigate because it's running full-on Linux with no keyboard, and it's $500. Come on, guys, it's not that hard. Like, you know what devices I'm actually excited about? Things like the BLE Shark Nano and the Nyan box. These things actually do new, cool stuff. All right, so that's enough ranting for me. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Catch you next time.